This is a game I played against my Kasparov chess computer on level C4. I'm white this time. We start out here with the queen pawn opening. We see black's response, and it basically looks like a Queen's Indian defense petrosian variation opening, and that's because I'm moving my A pawn up here to A3 to prevent his bishop from coming down onto the B4 square. He develops his knights. Now you'll notice right here I've kind of violated an opening principle, and I've moved nothing but pawns. So you can see the only 4 pieces I've moved are 4 pawns. Now there actually is a 4-pawn opening, but this is not it. And the reason I did this wasn't arbitrary. I have a plan here. Number 1 is to control the center, and then you can see that the A pawn move here was a prophylactic move here to prevent the bishop from coming down and attacking, and then my G pawn that was moved so I can eventually fianchetto my bishop. Go ahead and take his D pawn. Now he chooses to capture it back with his queen as opposed to his E pawn or his knight, which I kind of think was a mistake because he's bringing his queen out too early. I think the main reason he did that though was for the simple fact that I haven't advanced any of my major pieces, so he can bring his queen out without really having to worry about too much right now. I had to move this knight. Ideally I'd like to move my B knight to threaten his queen, but he had a clear path along this diagonal here to take my rook, so I had to block that. Obviously I would have liked to have blocked it with my bishop, so then I could fianchetto that and protect my rook. However, he could just capture my bishop, so it had to be the knight. He brings his knight down to a pretty powerful square there on E4, although he really can't do a whole lot with it. I fianchetto my bishop, so he's right now, at least, he's got a good chunk of the center controlled, but he's allowed me to position myself the way I intended to position myself for this. So that's advantageous for me. Moves his queen over. I'm not really sure what he's doing here because he doesn't really have a whole lot of attacking moves. He would have been better off, instead of moving his queen again, to develop one of his bishops, in my opinion. Because now I castle, and now I have a very strong defensive position here. My king is secure, he's behind a fianchetto bishop, and black doesn't have a whole lot of offensive moves. Now black is just trying to advance his pieces and castle his king, so he moves his bishop up. I'm now going to take the opportunity to develop my knight and threatening his knight here, which I want to get rid of since that's a pretty powerful square on E4. He takes the exchange, allows me to bring my B pawn up here to fortify my D pawn, which is great for me. So the fact that I got rid of his knight and was able to fortify my D pawn is all the better. He castles. I move my rook out. My idea now is to control the center. As you can see, black hasn't really done a good job of this because the 2 pieces of his that he did have in the center squares are no longer there. He's since moved his queen and his knight. So now the center of the board is actually open to me. So now I'm positioning my rook to capitalize on that. He continues to move his queen, attacking with it. He's now attacking the C pawn. That's easy for me to defend because now I can move my bishop up and defend both of these pawns. You'll also notice that he is attacking my A pawn twice with his king and with his bishop. So now I'm protecting it twice with my rook and my bishop. He moves his other bishop up. It's kind of a bad place for that bishop too because it's blocked in by this pawn and by his knight. So not really an ideal situation for black. Now right now you'll see this is pretty key. I completely own the center of the board. Both of my pawns, my D and E pawns, are right up there in the center, and they're now occupying my center squares, and they are controlling or threatening his center squares. And this is definitely disadvantageous for black. He moves his rook over. He's just trying to fortify the center here. I have to be careful too, because once this bishop moves, and if I have to capture anything with this pawn, that's going to expose my queen to his rook. So he's kind of planning that out probably ahead of time. So I have to be leery of that. I'll want to get my queen off of that file eventually.